Welcome to the Peer Effect Postbag. I'm James Johnson, joined by Freddie Burley. We asked for your questions, and Freddie and I are going to tackle them together. These aren't theoretical case studies, it's the stuff that's keeping you up at 2 a.m. Let's get answering. Welcome to the Peer Effect Postbag. I'm James Johnson.
And I'm Freddie Burley.
So Freddie, we've talked a bit about sort of new discoveries recently. Mm-hmm. Have you had any new discoveries recently?
Well, I've realised that I'm incredibly unmusical and really admire people that have musical talents. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn to play an instrument. And originally I went piano because I was like, it's a classic, you know. And then I was like, I just had this weird desire to learn the harp.
Harp.
So I just think that would be so magical to be able to play the harp. So that's my about to discover new intention for the rest of this year. So
amazing.
Yeah, I'm currently on the market for harp teachers. If you know of any, I would love to meet one who's great.
So we talked in the previous episode about you moving house. Is this create more space for your harp? I mean, that's not a portable instrument.
Yeah, that sounds. I've decided to move house so I can get a harp at home. Yeah, that was the main driving factor. In fact, I want a huge harp. To be fair, though, I want one of those proper magical huge ones. I think it would be really fun, quite relaxing with the vibration sounds, and also fun to just. I've never played an instrument. So learning to do something tactile and like physical and kind of ethereal sounding, I think will be really fun. I
did piano and recorder.
Classic.
And then actually the flute.
I also play the recorder. It's a classic for all Brits. I think every 5-year-old can scream through like green sleeves on the recorder.
And the flute. I do the flute as well.
Nice.
But my mum, I remember I was not disciplined about practicing, and I really didn't enjoy it, and I was really very untalented. And my mum was like, "You'll really regret it if you give up." And I was like, "The only thing I regret now is not giving it up sooner." Like,
like, let me tell you something. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah, so fair.
But I'm very impressed. So when is this all going to kick off?
Hopefully soon. I need to find my teacher, so I'm on the lookout for a harp teacher. So yeah, hopefully soon.
So future episode, you can play us in.
I'll be updating. Exactly, I'll bring it in. Yeah, I'll be doing the theme tune, sing the theme tune. Oh, you can do the jingle, I'll do the harp. Perfect, we're in. What a duo. Who needs questions and you got the harp?
That'd be taking a very left field turn. Like, we can have a 15-minute episode where it's just you playing the harp.
Founder melodies. Here's one for the lovers. Oh golly, yeah, good times.
I mean, I always don't know how to follow that, but let's jump into a question. So this comes from Kevin. How much or little do you think LinkedIn is useful? Has it become too bloated?
I think LinkedIn could really do with a harpist.
Yeah, I think there's more harp content.
Yeah, more harp content. To what extent is it bloated? I mean, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
I think the more you lose, the more you use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I suppose the more immersed you are, the more it feels like it's noisy and crowded. But that's possibly more about the more you use it because you get fed more stuff and you're on it more. I have a real sort of struggle with it, and I just don't like social media generally. And I feel it puts you in that place where you're seeing stuff that's not true quite a lot of the time. Therefore, that leads to comparison.
Yeah.
I don't find it particularly. I like the sort of the discipline of like writing stuff, like falling down. I don't think that necessarily means you then need to post.
Yeah.
Doing the podcast, clearly we do videos and we put it out to content, and that's actually useful as a way of sharing it.
Yeah.
So I feel that there's definitely positives to it.
Yeah.
But also it does feel it has become noisier and therefore harder to break through, and what's landing is like very surface level expertise.
Yeah.
I suppose that was one of the ideas behind the podcast, was to like rather than do surface level expertise, but like actually go and stuff and go a bit deeper and take the time, and like people are doing it right now, and what their experiences are and what they're willing to share. So I really go backwards and forwards on it. I can see how I get useful stuff from it occasionally.
Yeah.
Maybe now 1 in 20 things rather than 1 in 10 or 1 in 5.
Yeah.
Certainly with AI, it feels like there's just so much more volume.
Yeah.
So yeah, conflicted. How about you?
Yeah, it's a really interesting. I mean, personally, I so rarely use it. I so rarely use social media. But I think it comes down to what's the intention behind why you're using it. I think with a lot of these platforms, there of course is a huge amount of noise, but there's also a lot of eyes. And so if you can, I mean, obviously lots of these, it's like you need to hack the algorithm as well, but there is an opportunity to find people that you otherwise would never find or you would otherwise never connect with if your message is resonant. And if you're able to like frame what you're sharing in a specific way for specific people, I do think it increases your ability to connect. And it just requires quite a lot of intentionality, and it's a huge amount of frankly like time and energy to invest. If you're properly like going for the whole LinkedIn thing, it's a lot of time and energy, and it just requires a lot of intention. But with all of these, with all of these platforms, whether it's like Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram, there are so many people on it, but that's also an amazing opportunity to have so many eyes on whatever it is that you have to share. So it's hard because I don't have a huge amount of personal experience, but I know for a lot of my clients, it's quite conflicting because they're in the process where they think they would either like to build more of a personal brand to attract more speaker opportunities, to create more engagement with their company, to build a platform for hiring and for talent. And so there's lots of reasons as to why they want to build a personal brand, but then also this kind of tension between to what extent do I like share myself, or what am I going to post about, or like, so what feels right and still feels authentic to them. And then also just that you've got to chew a lot of grit. I think you've just got to go through the process of, it always feels cringe at the beginning. It's always a bit like, oh, and then it becomes almost like depersonalized in a way where you're just like, this is a process to achieve an outcome that I want to achieve. And if I've discerned that this is the best process, the best platform to help facilitate that, then it becomes a vehicle for your growth and a vehicle for your development. And exactly as you said, for some of my clients who really want to write and to consolidate their thoughts, it becomes a kind of accountability in making sure they're posting regularly because there are other people that are expecting it. Or and I think often when we do things that we share, we become more disciplined than when we do them in secret or in hiding almost. And I think there is a time and a place for the secret writing or the just keeping it for yourself, because I think it gives you enough and frankly like support and not the judgment of other people yet. And then once you're ready and you feel happy with the first few pieces that you're writing or whatever it is that you want to share, then sharing it with the world, getting feedback, kind of playing in the arena in a way. There's accountability.
So it's kind of this sort of being clear that the outcome you're after, potentially some accountability around getting there. But I think you need to be quite direct. I think you need to potentially enjoy it as well, or be sure what you're trying to get out of it. Because like you said, are you doing it for clients? Are you doing it for speaking opportunities? Are you doing it to hold yourself to account? Like what is the reason behind it? I think the way you'd approach it would be different.
Totally. And that always comes back to just like, what's the intention of this? What's it a vehicle for? And what's the process that is going to be most enjoyable and most impactful?
I think that's the thing that I sometimes slightly struggle on is it enjoyable, and does it ultimately have the end result that you want? Of all the things, given we said we're all time poor, like this is on top of running your business or running your practice or doing the work. There's like, this is additional time.
Yeah.
Can you put in enough time to make it? It feels like you could do something with like 2 hours a week maybe, but are you going to produce something that's actually going to have the impact that you want? And there's always danger like spreading yourself thin between doing, I don't know, some LinkedIn, something else, and like is actually one thing I always come back to, like, is let's say one speaking event worth more than all the time focused on LinkedIn? Or
Yeah.
I don't feel, and with the sense like, is there more noise? Then it's harder to break through. That is the thing that I'd maybe swing back on, that sort of, I think I'm relatively on the outcome. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is the, and it swings.
Totally. And there's like, you can research and explore and speak to different people and gather information as to, is this the right strategy for what I want?
Yeah.
And then you play and you experiment and you see what lands and you iterate. But yeah, there needs to be also, for people that really don't enjoy it but see it as the best vehicle for building their personal brand or for sharing or getting more eyes on what's going on in their world. You can also outsource it. So you can, once you've got someone who has a rhythm on what your voice is, what you like to write about. If you've written lots of articles in the past, you can share that. So there is a way to, if you really don't enjoy the process or you don't see it as a valuable use of your time, but you still think it would be valuable for you, then delegating is also possible. Although obviously, like, people have mixed opinions on how, going back to that quantity versus quality piece we talked about in the past, the quality of it, how does it sound like you? And that's another question.
Yeah, does it sound like you? Is it authentic?
Mm-hmm. And does it achieve the results you want? But interestingly, one of my friends who spends a lot of time investing, he shared a lot about how at the beginning it feels really personal, and actually he found that the content writer he hired got 90% of the way that he did, but he then was spending an hour a week on it versus 10 hours a week on it. And so then that trade-off made sense to him. But for others, maybe they don't find that balance. And so I think it really does depend on, intention, purpose. And then if you don't want to do it, if you don't get energy from it, you don't feel good at it, but you think it would be valuable for you, then delegating and outsourcing.
Yeah. I suppose also, going back to the outcome, like, people go, I need to build a personal brand, I'll go on LinkedIn. That's not the only way to build a personal brand.
So true.
It's one of the sort of default shortcuts. I think that's an assumption worth challenging. Like,
yes,
is it LinkedIn? And then if you have challenged it is LinkedIn, then okay, how do I do this efficiently and effectively? Rather than going, I'm personal brand, therefore I had to do LinkedIn. What do I do?
Yeah, it's so true. And all the other, whether it's another social media platform or whether you want to like have a column featured in media, like whatever,
Startups magazine or wherever.
Exactly. And especially if writing is your medium of choice, or like it's finding and just stretching your sense of possibility of like, what's the intention, then allows you to anchor into, okay, now what's the best vehicle to realize that intention in the most powerful and energizing and fun way, and allow your mind to kind of explore and play.
Yeah, I think if you can be clear why you're doing it, if you enjoy it, and we also can commit. I think one thing I've taken is just, there's probably like 500 different ways you could do it.
Yeah.
The one way you can be sure it won't work, like running a business, if you try to run 500 businesses at the same time, it's like, be really deliberate and just be committed to it. Like, it's going to take a year.
Yeah.
It's going to not always work, but you need to probably enjoy it enough to keep it going for at least a year.
Mm-hmm. Me too, and exactly as you say, it's that level of commitment. Once you've decided like intention, strategy, and then you go, okay, I'm going to give this my all, and then see where we're at.
I think that's not just a LinkedIn thing. I think that's probably a
life
general
thing.
principle. Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you very much for today, Freddie.
Yeah, it was great.
And thank you, Kevin, for the question. This has been the Peer Effect Postbag. We will see you next week, and have a great week.